I'm Parbin Ashraf, a working mum, passionate about the North Indian cuisine I grew up around and still love to cook. The food of India is so diverse, like the landscape and the climate that have shaped it. The cooler north is known for dairy, roti, naan and aromatic masalas. Across the deserts of majestic Rajasthan are dishes inspired by royal palace cuisine. Whilst on the southerly coast, fish and coconut are popular. It's this amazing mix of cultures, faiths, cooking traditions and people that have given rise to wonderful dishes eaten all over the world.
Original butter chicken.
In this series, I'll be persuading you to spice up your cooking with my top 20 easy Indian recipes, perfect for family and friends. Best way to eat this is immediately. Across India, from busy cities to the sunny coast, we'll be meeting grandmas and mums to find out their treasured recipes. We'll also catch up with chefs and food experts celebrating all that is both traditional and fashionable. And in the UK, I'm going on my own tour to meet chefs and restaurant owners who are cooking up dishes inspired by recipes from their own Indian roots. Plus, I'll be sharing my top tips for stocking up your store cupboard, ready to cook up an Indian feast. Welcome to my Indian kitchen. You can taste, you can hear the crunch. In this show, I'm cooking the easiest of crowd pleasers, light and crisp, my classic onion bhajis. Very crunchy. And the Indian capital of Delhi, located to the north, will reveal some inspiring foods, from a savoury breakfast in the famous old alleys of Chandni Chowk to the story behind some exciting new dishes gracing the table of award-winning chef Manish Mehrotra.
Gotala means all messed up.
In an Indian home, a recipe that's a family favourite and popular for brunch, chillers. Also, I get the chance to find out why Kolkata dishes have found their way onto a restaurant menu. And the secrets of my spice tin. In the heart of my pantry and centre stage is my trusted spice tin. But first, it's time to let you into the secret of the boona with my version of lamboona. I'm making my lamboona, and it's famous in my family. I love it, my children love it, and my husband absolutely loves it. It's his favourite dish. I make it all the time, probably about twice a week. Best thing about this lamboona is just chuck everything in a pan and cook it through. First thing that's going to go in is my oil in the pan. In there, going to add some black cardamom. They've got this really tough husk and a very potent smell and a potent flavour. It smells of like a char grill barbecue flavour, and that's going to add a real smokiness to my lamboona. The next spice I'm going to add is a cinnamon stick. Already I can smell that black cardamom. It is quite a powerful spice. And I don't want to stir too long, so I don't want to burn those whole spices. Just literally 30 seconds. In goes my ginger. Turn the heat down. And then garlic. Ginger and garlic fries really quickly because I've minced it. Considering I've only got some whole spice, some ginger, garlic frying in oil already, that is smelling like a curry. And straight away I'm going to add my meat and coat that meat in that lovely ginger and garlic. For this particular recipe, I'm using a lamb neck. I like to use neck because it's really tender, and all that marbling as well really helps add to flavour in the dish. Just going to give it a couple of minutes to seal in that ginger and garlic, and then add my dry spices. Couple of more stirs. First of all, I'm going to add coriander. Love coriander, dry coriander powder, a teaspoon of that. And that has like a gingery, lemony kind of flavour. Chili powder, which is, of course, in most curries, but I'm using a mild chili powder. Sometimes you can buy the extra hot or the hot. I would go for the mild and ask twice as much, which gives you twice the amount of flavour. And then the last spice, quite a lot of garam masala. Now, garam means warm and masala means spice, so actually, literally translated, means warm spice. And that's exactly what it is, a warming spice with about 7 different spices to make a mix. I usually make my own, but, you know, shop bought is good. It varies from family to family, region to region, but that meat's already turning a beautiful golden brown, and that's all down to having a really good garam masala. good heat teaspoon of salt. If you don't want it too salty, just half the amount of salt, it's fine, but you do need some salt. And then add your tomatoes. The whole tin. And what I like about this is the tinned tomatoes creates a lovely sauce for the lambuna. I use fresh in a lot of my vegetable dishes, but for my lambuna, I like to use tinned tomatoes because it makes a thicker, richer, deeper sauce. The last thing to go in is my onions. Now that may seem an unusual way of cooking, is because I'm not frying my onions. I'm just going to put them all in and let them simmer through with the spices, with the tomatoes and the meat. It's a wonderful dish, and it's the kind of dish I want to cook when I don't really want to cook. I'm going to cover it and leave it for about 40 minutes. Just going to make a classic cucumber raita. I say classic because there's many of the recipes for this. This one is just cucumber, yogurt with a bit of cumin. In a bowl, I'm just going to add about 6 tablespoons of yogurt. You can use any yogurt you like. You can use Greek yogurt, which I've got here, or you can use low-fat. The thing about raita is it's very cooling, and that's what it's designed to do. It helps you cool down the palate. It works really well with a hot curry. So I learnt this really neat trick of just scoring it down lengthways and then just chopping off the top a bit at a time, and you get these perfect little cubes. It takes seconds. Tiny bit of salt, literally a pinch of salt, and then some cumin, and that's just for a little bit of flavour. I'm going to pop it into a little bowl, ready to serve later with my lambuna, and I'll make some fluffy white rice. Wow, look at that. That's just with 40 minutes of reduction. Onions are broken down, the tomatoes are broken down. Remember I said we didn't fry the onions? Well, I'm going to fry them now. So I'm going to boon it now. Boon's a Punjabi word. It means to reduce down, to caramelise, and to cook on a high heat. That's a lot of sentences for one word in Punjabi. And you can physically see the oil frying the spices. It seems quite fierce and it's bubbling, and I want it to bubble because I want to fry the spices, fry the meat. And that's a process that we use to create depth of flavour. I first made this recipe, oh gosh, about 30 years ago, and it's the first dish my mother taught me to make. And I'd take shortcuts and I'd cook it, like boon it for 3 seconds or 3 minutes. And she'd say, have you booned it? And I'd say, yeah, Mum, I booned it. And she could tell that I hadn't booned it. We're nearly there with our lambuna. Now I'm going to make a little bit of a sauce, add my water, simmer for another 10 minutes, and we're going to get really, really tender pieces of lamb neck. Beautiful plain boiled rice. A lot of times I do serve a really rich curry with a plain boiled rice because I want to taste the curry and not so much the rice. The rice is just a carrier for the curry. OK, look at that. If I just fluff it up, get long grains of white basmati rice. Peek at my lambuna. Look at that. Just gorgeous. And the meat's literally shining. That is dinner. I'm ready to serve. That is so rich and creamy. And you can taste the depth of flavour coming from the cardamom, the cinnamon, the garam masala, and actually just a hint of chilli at the back. That is perfect. That's my perfect one-pot wonder.
We're in Delhi, exploring its glorious food, old and new. We'll meet these modern Delhi professionals who love serving a family favourite, savoury pancake chillers, for brunch. Plus, there's some top tips from me on how to get organised for your Indian pantry. And I'm cooking up my easy Indian recipes for you, like my onion bhajis.
Very crunchy.
But first, back to Delhi, India's capital, where I've lined up some breakfast treats just for you. Located in the north of India, Delhi is home to 18 million plus. Famous for its jostling crowds, it also has a wealth of cuisines on offer. Next to the majestic Red Fort in Old Delhi sit the chaotic alleys of Chandni Chowk. This area, historically associated with silver merchants, today bustles with locals going about their business. If you wander these alleys soaking up the rhythm of daily life, it's hard not to get drawn into thinking about having an authentic snack. And there's much to tempt the taste buds. Anubhav Sapra lives in Delhi and he's been hosting food tours for several years. So he knows the best places to stop and eat.
We are in Old Delhi and the name of this lane is Chitli Kabar. We call it Haveli Azam Khan. And we are here to try the breakfast dishes.
One of Anubhav's tours often starts around breakfast time, so best get up early. On a tight bend in an alley, Shabrathi have been serving a popular stew with locals as a way to start their day since 1957. It's called Nihari.
It's like a mutton stew. Here they use buffalo meat, but normally at other places you get mutton as well, that's good.
What really adds flavour is time, and that requires an early start.
So in the night time, they add all the spices and everything, and then they cook it over low flame whole night. And in the morning they open up the pot, and then they serve it with a bread called Khamiri roti.
With the brisk morning trade, many rotis are required to keep up with the crowd.
So the dough is made with white flour, then they add yeast in it. And then they are rolled and they cooked in tandoor, like an oven. Super delicious. It's not that spicy, but you have to ask them to add more chilies over it. Just to make this thick, they add chickpea flour. That's why it's thick. If you see the consistency of this nahari, some places they add whole wheat flour, but here they add chickpea flour. So after morning prayers, people come here to eat their breakfast. And normally also the people who do like this physical manual work, it's like a workman's meat. So people eat this in the breakfast time, then they skip their lunch and they straight away eat dinner. So if you want to try this dish, you have to come early morning. And the dish is so delicious that makes me come here almost every other day to try it out.
Popular places for morning snacks are easy to spot in the busy alleys of Jadvi Chowk as customers jostle around stalls to get served. At Prem Chand Halwai, they serve two types of local vegetarian dishes, bedmi bori, a fried sweet snack, and nigori halwa, a sweet dish, which are popular at breakfast. They've been here since 1958.
In the morning, we are going to try the authentic vegetarian breakfast dish. They have bedmi puri, that's like a puffed bread stuffed with lentils, and served with a potato curry and pickles. Puri is something which you get all over India. It's a pan-Indian breakfast dish. But here, the dough is a bit coarse in texture. And then they are stuffed with lentils. Normally you have plain puris, but here they are stuffed with lentils. And then they are deep fried in oil, and they are fried twice. They believe that if you fry anything twice, it absorbs less oil. That's what they say. And it becomes more crisp. It's a bit tangy in taste, and then served with potato curry. Some places they also serve pumpkin. Some places they also serve chickpeas. But here they simply have potato curry with fenugreek chutney.
Tasty.
Tasty? You have come for the first time?
Yeah. Amazing.
So here we have nagori halwa. It's a small puffed bread, and at the bottom you have halwa, that's pudding made up of suji, that's semolina, in ghee and sugar. Puri is not sweet, so you have to make it sweet. You add halwa inside it. And the traditional way of eating it is that you hollow this out from the center, and you stuff the halwa inside it. Like this, and you eat it.
If you're not already full, breakfast can be stretched throughout the morning, as there's a huge variety of authentic snacks to be found in these alleys. Like this street cart which serves up a seasonal dessert, Dolat Ki Chaat.
This is milk and cream. You churn it together, then the foam is formed. You collect that foam. Over it you add some saffron, pistachios, powdered sugar, and condensed milk. It's simply like disappears in your mouth. It's like cloud.
If you thought you needed an oven to make perfect shortbread, then think again. Biscuits here are hot off the coals.
That's naan khatai. It's very similar to Scottish shortbread. It's made up of chickpea flour, white flour, semolina, ghee, that's clarified butter, sugar, and then cardamom. And they bake it right here on the street. So that's how they bake it. This is like soft and moist. Oh.
Anubhav will often finish the Old Delhi tour with a famous northern Indian snack, jalebis. They rather appeal to those with a sweet tooth.
While in the Old Delhi, don't forget to try the jalebis here. This is the oldest jalebi shop in Delhi, established in 1884.
Popular from sunrise to sunset, jalebis are a white flour batter fried in ghee and then soaked in a syrup. At this stall, the sweet syrup is infused with 16 spices.
And you have to be very careful while eating because the sugar might drip on your clothes. So to try the best breakfast in Delhi, come to Old Delhi and you might probably see me here as well.
Quick and easy Indian home cooking is my goal. Whether I'm cooking for my family or throwing a dinner party, best way to start is to find and discover the delights of Indian specialist shops. To help me get great dishes to the table, I have a well-stocked pantry ready for action. In the heart of my pantry and centre stage is my trusted spice tin. It houses 7 spices that I use all the time, from chili powder, garam masala, turmeric, coriander, cumin, dry fenugreek leaves, and then chili flakes. And in my spice tin, I always have chili powder. But there's so many types of chili powder. You can buy hot, red hot, fine, coarse. There's a whole range to choose from. If you do a lot of cooking, this is the one to go for. Another key spice is garam masala. Actually, when I say spice, it's spices, because a garam masala contains 7 different spices. It's really good in meat dishes. It adds real depth of flavour. Buy your small packets or your medium packets or your ginormous packets. Store them in airtight containers, pop in your pantry, and then once a week, just top up your spice tin and you have fresh spices when you need to cook a really good Indian meal. Another essential in my spice tin is cumin. Add it to samosas or bhajis, or I make a cumin yogurt. Turmeric, known as haldi, great for colour, add it to rice, meat dishes and vegetarian dishes. Let's not forget about coriander seed powder. This has a slightly earthy and lemon undertones. I use it quite a lot, mostly in my onion bhajis. And I like to use red chili flakes. Reason being, you don't really have to cook them through. It adds heat and makes the dish look pretty. I'm a huge fan of fenugreek. I use it a lot in my Indian snacks that I make. If I don't have fresh coriander to hand and I need to add depth of flavour to my Indian snacks, I use fenugreek leaves, always ready in my spice tin. So there you have it. You have your trusted spice tin at the ready when you want to cook an authentic Indian meal.
In thriving modern Delhi, a growing population of workers and families face the same time constraints as any other city dweller. Gurugram is one of 4 major satellite cities of Delhi. There are an estimated 1,100 high-rises. It's a popular place to live for young professionals like Chef Smita Power and her family. When it comes to places to eat, this food hall offers a taste of modern living while still serving up foods and snacks inspired by traditional Indian fare. It's popular with all ages, including Samita's family.
So, it's a wonderful place to come. You know, it's mostly family crowd, fast moving, and some friendly faces who are living nearby.
This is a nice place to, everybody gets what they want.
With a huge lot of varieties. There could be anything from Indo-Chinese to North Indian to South Indian to chaat.
Everything under one roof.
I think food is a great way of finding a bit of work-life balance. Just like me, Chef and Mum Smita will often gather friends at home over brunch, where she likes to serve a family favourite pancake recipe known as chillers.
Today I'm making my family favourite brunch. It's a very quick recipe. It's a besan chila, which is made with gram flour batter. Gram flour is basically chana dal. It's powdered chana dal. With that I'm going to add some suji, which is semolina. Semolina just gives the batter a nice consistency and chila comes out very crisp. I'm going to add in chopped onions, tomatoes. That's also about 2 tablespoons of tomatoes. Very optional, but I like to add half a teaspoon of chopped green chilies. It gives a nice kick to the bland mixture otherwise. Coriander, I like to add a lot of it. It gives a really nice color and, you know, the freshness to the mixture. And there goes a teaspoon of chopped up ginger. Teaspoon of salt according to your taste, half a teaspoon of red chili, just more of color and less of heat, and this is called the degi mirch. Then there is half a teaspoon of haldi, which is turmeric powder for that golden yellow beautiful color. And then there is a nice heapful of coriander powder. Again, very earthy, nice taste it has. Just mix this batter with a little bit of water. When we were growing up, even today, you know, in India, a lot of Hindu families go vegetarian on Tuesdays. Our grandmother would insist we don't have eggs, and which is a typical, you know, breakfast for all of us.
As chillas are a vegetarian recipe, they're often eaten on Tuesdays, as that's the vegetarian day, in honour of Hanuman, the monkey god.
I'm going to do a tomato and date relish. So this is whole red chilies. We are going to add panch foran. It's a mixture of 5 seeds: fennel, cumin, fenugreek, mustard, nigella seeds. Next we do is to add the tomatoes. So it goes wonderfully, wonderfully well with, you know, plain parathas, just a sandwich, a toast, you know, like a spread. Just want the tomatoes to get soft. An inch of ginger that has been finely chopped up. And then there goes the chopped up dates, 2, maybe 3 teaspoons of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt. And then this is called amchur, which is mango powder. So it's sour and gives a nice tartness to the thing. So here I go with a teaspoon of mango powder. And now we stir it all in, lower the flame, cover it, and I'm going to put it on a slow fire here. While that cooks up, we are going to make the chilas. So we start with a little bit of ghee in the pan. There it goes. And we generally would not want the ghee to ever become too hot. Ladle the batter inside the pan. And we just want medium-sized chilas. You know, the essence of the main Indian food and the simplicity of home-cooked food, I mean, it cannot be beaten. So that's our chila done. So the chutney's been on for about 10 minutes, and it's all gone mushy, and you can see a nice glaze of the tomatoes. And we're going to serve it in here. With chutney, we have a little, this we call is a martaban. It's, you know, it's made of clay. When it's season and the mums and grannies are cooking the pickles, they cook it in really big quantities and they store it. So this is just a mini version of the martaban. And for a brunch, this is besan chila and tomato and date chutney.
Very, very nice.
Served with a tangy tomato chutney, Smita's chilla recipe, learned from her mum, has made it down the generations to the modern Indian dining table. And it's definitely something I'd be happy to serve for brunch. I'm Purvi Ashraf, and I believe all food cooked with love tastes amazing. But what does an award-winning Delhi chef think about his food?
It's really yum.
And I'm finding out if food inspired by the rich culinary heritage of Kolkata is just as yummy. Before all that, I'm back in the kitchen with a family favourite.
These are my legendary onion bhajis. I make these so often. The key ingredient to any onion bhaji is the gram flour, or sometimes called besan, and that's made from chickpeas. You can tell it's gram flour because it has that beautiful yellow colour. In that, I'm going to add my dry spices. 2 teaspoons of dry fenugreek leaves, sometimes called methi, and that adds a lovely aromatic smell to the bhajis. We've got 2 teaspoons of coriander seed powder, and that gives it sort of a lemony, gingery type flavour, very subtle. Then some pomegranate seed powder, which gives a little bit of sourness to the bhajis, and then half a teaspoon of cumin, and last but not least, a little bit of chilli powder. Love a bit of chilli. But these bhajis are not meant to be hot, just hot enough to add flavour to the bhaji. I will be making a really hot dip to go with them. Give that little mix, and now I'm ready to add my water. Pour the whole lot in. Not a bit at a time, just pour the whole lot in, and you'll find it comes together quite easily. And then some salt to season. Onion bhajis, it's one of the first dishes I made when I had my first dinner party. And that's the consistency we're looking for, is like this. Almost like a cake mix. Next thing to go in there is my onions. What I want to do is have long, thin strips of onion. So sort of half moons like that. And then I'm going to add potatoes. Sometimes I'll peel the potatoes, and what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for a really thin potato, really small thin. Sometimes if I don't have time, and I often get a potato with a really good thin skin like that, and what I would do is slice that, slice it in half, and just thinly slice the potatoes. And I can't stress the word thinly enough. That's because the potatoes are going to go in the batter raw, and we're going to fry them, and they need to cook within 3 to 5 minutes. As we were younger, we loved the potatoes so much. My mum sometimes would just do potato bhajis and then put them in sandwiches for us. And I do love an onion bhaji sandwich. In go my vegetables, so that's 2 onions and 2 potatoes. Give them a good stir. And as you can see, the batter coats the vegetables, but only just coats the vegetables. And that's exactly what I'm going for. Spinach, just the leaves, give the bhajis a real crunch as they fry. My mum would always add spinach to her potato onion bhajis. And for many years, I stopped using spinach, but I've gone right back to her traditional recipe, and it works. So in goes a couple of big handfuls of spinach, roughly chopped. Just fold it in, and that adds lovely green flecks to my onion bhaji batter. The last ingredient I'm going to add is just some fresh lemon juice. There's something about the acidity of lemon that works with the bhaji that makes it nice and crispy. And I got this tip from somebody when I first got married. I had big hair, big shoulder pads, big ideas and no experience. And she made these amazing bhajis and added lemon juice. And I still use that tip today. All that needs to do now is rest at room temperature for about 20 minutes, just enough time for me to make my hot green chilli dip. Just going to add 2 fresh green chilies into this dip, roughly chop, and into our blitzer. And some fresh mint. I'm only going to use the leaves of the fresh mint. Unlike the mint, we're using all the coriander, and that's the leaves and the stalks. And if I was to break that down, the smell of the leaves, a nice pungent smell of coriander, but the stalks is where all the flavours are. Just tear it, chuck that in, pack that down, and then I'm going to add some yoghurt. In goes the garlic, just grate it straight into there. And then some salt to season. All it needs now is a blitz. I think it needs another pulse. And that's ready. Immediately when you open up the blitzer, you can smell the chilies, you can smell the fresh coriander and the fresh mint. It smells fresh, but don't be fooled. This is a powerful little dip. Ooh, that's hot. I can taste the green chilies and the yogurt. I can taste everything. Most of all, I can taste the green chili. And it's really hot, but it's designed to be that way. Perfect with my bhajis. That batter's got looser now. As it rests, the water's drawn out from the onions, and that's the consistency I'm looking for. My mantra is the looser the batter, the better the bhaji, and it really works. Quick tip about frying. To test the oil, drop in a piece of potato. If it floats to the top within 5 seconds, that's 4, 5. That was right, perfect. If it sinks to the bottom, the oil's too cold. And if it floats to the top too quickly, it's too hot. 1 teaspoon of batter is all you need, and that will just seal instantly as it drops into the hot oil. Remember I said the batter is going to be quite loose? Almost like a double cream consistency now, as opposed to a cake batter consistency. You can't leave bhajis to fry by themselves. You really have to babysit and watch them and turn them over as they're cooking so they cook evenly on both sides. I love a crispy bhaji. The lemon juice is going to help, and the way we fry also helps. Turn that down for about 3 minutes, and that allows the bhajis to cook on the inside. Look at that, oh, beautiful. Each bhaji is individual, and they've all got character. Now, I love a bhaji with character. They're turning a golden brown now. Such a light, crispy golden brown. Lovely. So I'm going to turn the heat up now for a minute, because what I don't want to do, I don't want the oil seeping into the bhaji. I want it to coat the bhajis, and I'm going to take them out while they're on a hot heat. And that's a really important tip to remember. It may take a few practices. By the time you finish that batter, which is going to make about 30, you'll get it right. Shake off the excess oil. Ooh, can you hear the even sound crispy? By the time the last batch is fried, You'll be a Bahgji master. Very crunchy, crunchier than I expected. And that's a spinach. I think my mum knew best. These are the best Bahgji I've ever had.
I love Indian food, at home or in a restaurant, but as a cuisine it's often been ignored internationally in fine dining awards, until one chef, Manish Malhotra, completely changed the way diners thought about Indian dishes. His restaurant, Indian Accent, is located in the heart of New Delhi. It's gained Manish many awards, and it's made it into Asia's best 50 restaurants.
Our dishes, the flavors and everything is totally traditional and quite grounded, but it's done in a different way, presented in a different way. So it's new for people, but still they can relate to it. So that's the whole idea, that they are eating Indian food, but it's completely new to them.
And to create the new dishes, Manish looks to uplift tradition, from street foods to home cooking.
And there are thousands of recipes in people's home in India which are still unexplored. So my idea is to get those dishes from people's home and serve it with a little bit of twist of mine in my restaurant as a fine dining restaurant.
One dish that got everyone talking was Manish's take on an Indian staple, naan bread, which he paired with cheese.
One of our signature dishes is blue cheese naan. It's just a bite to give a hint of a blue cheese with a hot naan. So this is the Danish blue cheese. I love it. Blue cheese is a bit of an acquired flavor for Indian palate. And when I started this 9 years back in the restaurant, there are a few people who used to send it back that your cheese inside is gone off. And but it used to happen. But now people know this and they ask for it, yes. This is just blue cheese mixed with a little bit of mozzarella. Mozzarella hold the blue cheese and doesn't allow it to leak. A little bit of nigella seeds and coriander on top. And now we are going to put these small naan inside the tandoor. Tandoor is very, very important because the amount of heat is required to cook these breads. You cannot do it in oven. See, the melted cheese is really inside. These are nice and hot. It's really yum.
Vegetarian food is often referred to on menus in India as non-meat. It's one way to describe his approach to adapting a street food dish, keema gotala.
This is soy keema. Soy keema means mince. This dish is inspired from a typical non-vegetarian lamb mince dish from the streets of Bombay, where they mix it with an egg. So a little bit of coriander. Gotala means all messed up. So a little bit of chaat masala, a little bit of parmesan. It gives a little bit of umami kind of a flavor, which really gives, again, more meaty kind of a flavor. So it really enhances. A little bit of lime juice. Now I'm going to put a quail egg, just the yolk, on top. This dish, the quail egg yolk is there. So just mix it, the quail egg yolk, and have it with a lime leaf pav.
It takes a slick operation to get this level of food to the table every service.
So have a great shift, okay? Great.
Something Manish keeps an eye on, from front of house to the kitchen. And when it comes to detail, Chef is determined not to fail diners at the final hurdle, dessert.
One of the most difficult part for me to do is to come up with a dessert menu, because Indians, we eat dessert or a mithai in a mithai shop, not in a restaurant. So that is where I did this dessert called Makhan Malai or Daulat Ki Chaat. Again, very, very old dessert. In India also, very few people knew about it. Daulat means money. That is why we serve with a little bit of fake money into it. This is reduced milk with saffron and sugar. And in olden days, they used to put this milk overnight in the dew, and before sunrise, they used to start churning it and then collect the foam. And it used to be sell early in the morning, you will get it. Otherwise, whole day you will not get it because the foam will settle down. But now we have a little bit of modern technology, so you use a little bit of modern technology. So we have to use the siphon, and it really helps to immediately charge it. This dish was very difficult to make, and it is available for a moment. It's just the froth, it's foam. It's very, very light. And then we put a little bit of rose petal brittles. It will give a very nice texture to it. And some almond flake, roast almond flakes. And here goes the gold. And slightly more dramatic. So this is Daulat ki chaat or makhan malai, which is aerated saffron milk with almonds, rose petal brittles, and gold leaf.
Moving forward is important in the world of high-end food. But how does Manish think his creativity will influence traditional Indian cooking?
If we are not going to revive all these things in a modern way, I don't think it will stay or survive. It will disappear for the next generation. Everyone should clap for themselves. Please do that.
Indian food is still a British favourite to eat out. It's a cuisine with a vast culinary heritage, and each Indian region has contributed distinct recipes and flavours to the dishes we've come to love. My recipes are inspired from the North Punjab region, and as part of my journey, I'm interested to discover how the food of other regions differs and is finding its way onto restaurant tables.
The new emerging generation of chefs are looking beyond the whole curry house style of food. They're bringing to the table spicy, mouth-watering dishes with a regional influence, often inspired by their mothers and grandmothers, and then adding their own modern twist.
In London's Covent Garden district is Little Kolkata, which owners Biswajit Devdas and Prabir Chattopadhyay refer to as a Bengali canteen. They are from Kolkata and they first came here as students. Their dishes are influenced by the food they missed from home. Once known as Calcutta, the former capital of British India, Kolkata sits in the region of Bengal. As a large river port, it has a rich history around a lively merchant trade that's influenced the cuisine, along with the great rivers. So freshwater fish is a staple.
Bengali canteen food, Kolistri machar fish. They have a fish dish here, served with a mustard sauce. Now that is something I wouldn't have put together. Calcutta-style chili chicken. I'd be interested to see how they've translated their Bengali heritage and put it in a plate in Little Calcutta. And my favourite line of the whole menu is, cooked from the heart, served with love.
To get an insight into the region's food, Prabir has selected some dishes to show me.
Just admiring all the beautiful colours of the dishes from your region. Amazing.
You. Thank you. My region is Calcutta, which is sort of the capital of West Bengal. That's where I come from, and that's where the food is from.
Now that looks a bit fishy, and that looks a bit fishy as well.
Well, there is a lot of fish that you find in Calcutta. That's why you've got two fish dishes. I mean, it's one of our staples in Calcutta. So what we have here is silver pomfrets. Basically, they are freshwater fishes. And what we've done here is we've made the dish with freshly ground mustard, which is, again, a very much a dish that comes from Calcutta. And you go to any Calcutta house, they love their mustard fish. Well, why don't you have that with some truffle paratha? I know. Truffle is not very Indian. Try it.
Try this. Oh, wow. The mustard's not very hot, is it?
No.
It's very creamy.
So this is where a bit of innovation comes in, because in Calcutta, we would have the mustard a lot more stronger. So for me, it's how do I balance those authentic flavors and put it in front of the global platform.
Exactly.
So some of the dishes, you know, this goat is exactly how my mother would cook. The banana croquettes, they're exactly how you would find in a sort of Calcutta canteen, or, you know, even that kofta is how you would get it in a typical sort of a Bengali wedding.
I'm intrigued to try this.
So these are fish croquettes.
Yeah.
Or, you know, in this country we would normally call them fish cutlets. But in Calcutta we also call them fish chops.
You said chop, and
Yes.
then you said cutlet.
Yes.
They're both English words.
Absolutely, and that kind of goes back to the colonization effect that India has had, because, you know, a lot of times we use English words as if they're part of Hindi or any other Indian language, so to speak, and we don't sometimes even realize that. But try that with the mustard sauce.
The mustard sauce.
We have that always with those fish cakes.
Is it spicy?
Well, as I said, go easy on them. What do you think?
Well, it hits you straight away, that mustard.
And of course, lots and lots of love.
Now, that is the dish that I want you to teach me how to make.
Definitely. Anything for you.
In the tiny kitchen, Chef Biswajit has agreed to reveal the spices and cooking method behind the college cutlet I tasted.
What goes in next,
So
Chef?
first we're gonna put some ajwain seed.
I think they're called caraway seeds, and they're very, very strong flavour. Ooh.
So bit of a chopped ginger.
Ginger.
And then
Onion.
yeah,
So they're called chops or cutlets, but
They're
the
cutlets,
word
yeah.
college.
So College Street, it comes from a place where there are a number of colleges on that street, hence the name.
Yeah.
Now, it's a very studenty area.
Yeah.
Now, students, as always, you know, they need food that is healthy, tasty, but it's also affordable.
so now I'm gonna add a bit of a chopped chilies. Up
I
to
feel
your-
very helpful with my tray of spices here.
So now the dry spices.
Yeah.
This is amchur powder. We call it dry,
The dry mango powder.
Turmeric
Turmeric.
powder.
Yeah.
Fried cumin powder. Bit of a chili
Yep.
and salt.
Am I finished with holding the tray?
Yes.
Lovely, I'll put that down.
Now we just need to add the fish.
Okay, let's do it.
So what we have here are all your spices.
Can I have the gloves?
Oh, yeah, let me be glove
Yeah.
monitor. There you are.
Thank you.
Then we have white fish, which we sort of pre-cooked, so just boiled it with some turmeric, and then we've allowed it to
Salt.
cool. What you need is the flavors of the spices to sort of penetrate into every sort of little filament of fish over there.
The colours change, look. Tell us.
Yeah.
Can I have some coriander,
Oh.
chopped coriander, please? Just to add more freshness.
Yeah.
This is sort of a dish
That's-
that you would have with your afternoon or evening tea.
Yeah.
You know, in India, we wouldn't have dinner at 8 o'clock. People
Yeah,
would
just
sort of
something
come
to
in.
keep you going.
Just something
So,
to
yeah.
keep you going.
So now I'm going to add boiled potato. The secret of this recipe, I'm telling you now.
Oh, tell me the secret, please do.
One of the secret is the fish quantity and the potato quantity has to be the same. What potato does is to hold the
Cutlet and
cutlet.
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Sometimes my mum would have made them at home
Yeah.
the previous night or sort of the evening,
Yeah.
and she would pack them for lunch to us for us as well. So we would have like open our tiffin box, like, oh wow, you've got these kind of the fish cutlets.
So now I'm going to finish it with egg and breadcrumbs. You can have a double coat, so you can put it again and then put the breadcrumbs again, but it's up to you whether you want it really deep fried or you just want very
Shallow fried.
Okay,
Yeah.
so would you, in the restaurant, do double coats? Or
We always double
You always double coat.
because it just makes it a little more crunchy.
crunchy. Yeah.
How long are they going to fry for?
So till they are become golden brown. So maybe 2-3 minutes. That's it.
2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
Just when you're picking them up, I can hear the crunch.
There you go.
Try
Do
it
you
with
have-
this sauce.
Oh, the lovely mustard sauce.
Yes.
Okay, now they're a bit hot, but I'm going to go straight in. Oh my goodness. That double coating makes it so crunchy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me and teaching me how to make these fish chops, cutlets from your college days.
Yes.
You know, Chef, this is how food is from Kolkata. I have to go and I have to try all the other street food as well.
Of course.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
Thank you
coming
so
in.
much for having me.
I grew up around great Indian cooking, but there always seems to be something new to learn. Whether it's holding onto traditional methods or busting forward into the next era with high-end delights, Indian food is ready to be explored beyond rice and curry. That's why I'm passionate about the easy dishes of mine I hope you try. At the end of the day, there's nothing like spicing up life with some mouth-watering home-cooked Indian food for family and friends. Next week, I'm making light work of tandoori chicken with my easy version, and there's more Delhi food to discover, including fast food at night that's big with the locals.